Oh my God. Now that is a documentary. Tiger King, Netflix. Sit back, relax. I hope you enjoy this episode diving into this show. What a show. What a show. Here we go. Episode 91 of The Actors Room. Once again, my name's Jeff. This is the show. This week, couldn't pass it up. It's all people are talking about. And guess who's getting the most backlash? Carole Baskin. Whoa boy. I feel sorry for this lady. While I was watching the documentary, I really didn't. But now I do. This doc is filled with a lot of unlikable characters. And those of you out there who are fans of Joe Exotic, really? In what way? I'm waiting. What's your answer on that one? I see people backing him more than Carole Baskin. Wow. We'll get into this whole thing. I've never seen anything like it. And although tigers are extremely beautiful, and yes, Joe, they are exotic. And yeah, they're cool. They're amazing. And wouldn't it just be great to have them as pets? But let's get serious. A tiger is not a pet. I don't care what you say. And as much as I love the zoo, and I have my entire life, it kind of makes me cringe now. Seeing all these beautiful animals, and all of them are beautiful. These creatures, wonderful specimens for us humans to take in and enjoy them. Kind of be a part of their existence for a very short period of time at the zoo. And it's wonderful. We take the whole family, we make a day of it. But it really does hurt me because I am a big animal lover. Seeing these animals in cages. There are a lot of zoos, and I think for the most part, the animals are treated with respect and kindness and compassion. Let's hope so. There might be a few cases where that doesn't exist, in opening doors into the realities that exist within SeaWorld that was exposed years ago in Blackfish. That blew me away. And I loved SeaWorld. I got to tell you, SeaWorld was just one of the greatest places for me as a kid. And I have so many fond memories of going to SeaWorld. There was a SeaWorld right near us in Ohio. We went there often. Every summer. I loved it. But after watching Blackfish, the doc about how they treated these killer whales, I am now happy there are no more SeaWorlds. And as much as I love that place, I'm glad that they're just gone. And they don't exist anymore. Trying to contain these animals for our entertainment is wrong. Flat out wrong. And people like Joe Exotic, Carole, and that other guy. That other guy upset me a lot too. Doc, was it? The guy who pretty much ran a cult? This is a sick thing here. And this doc exposed a lot of things, didn't it? It was amazing to me how not only animals are treated by us humans for our entertainment, our ability not to cope with certain things, and how tigers just make us feel good. And we have to keep them in cages because of that. Because if you don't keep them in a cage, they're going to fucking run away. And why are they going to do that? Well, because they don't want to be in a fucking cage for our enjoyment. So first off, as you could tell, I'm not a big fan of having tigers in cages. Okay? And I think that's a well-known saying. A tiger is not meant to be caged, as well as a bird. I think that's the saying. Excuse me. A bird is not meant to be caged. And that could be said as well for the tiger. What a beautiful animal. And they are. And I could see the connection there. It's almost like a drug to these people. It gives them a high. Like they're high on these animals. They make them feel good inside. And Joe Exotic said that, he was a closet homosexual. And he received a lot of backlash from his family, which is very sad. And although you may be against certain things in your life, where you have been brought up, your religion, and as much as it may not be your cup of tea, okay, and you don't understand certain things in the world, how dare you condemn your son for being who they are? Although you may not like it. So in that respect, you can see Joe's pain as a child, having to deal with that. And his happiness came from these tigers. And he sort of just went with that. And it sort of just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. Acquiring more tigers. How? Where? Do you go on to Amazon and look up white tigers, regular tigers, for, $3,000? You could buy a tiger and they ship it out to you. Folks, I don't know how this stuff happens. I didn't do the research on it. I didn't want to. It doesn't interest me. It just doesn't, because I don't want to know how someone can go buy a tiger. Shouldn't be allowed. No one should be able to buy a tiger. It's wrong. It is. And people are like, well, they're just big cats. No, they're not just big cats. They're fucking tigers. What a documentary. I sat there with my wife watching this thing. She wasn't as interested as I was. I'm looking at this thing. And then I look back at my wife going, did you just see that? What? Tigers. There's people that own tigers. Are they insane? Are they insane? And then I'm like, probably, yeah. Owning one tiger, okay, I think is insane. But owning like a bunch of them, the way this Joe Exotic did, Carole and Doc, this Doc guy, this cult leader, he's a sex addict, obviously. I mean, he has these women around him. They pretty much work for free. They're his sex slaves. Very disturbing. And although his park of tigers was a step above Joe's park, Joe is a psychopath, folks. He's a psychopath. Period. He has some deep, dark issues that go beyond this tiger thing. Like, he's dangerous. And in the progression of this doc, you get to see how crazy he became. And I don't care if this Jeff character took him for what he had. Joe fucking deserved it, man. He was on his way out anyway. He was just insane. And those of you who backed this guy, let's take a step back. This is a Netflix documentary. And I have said this numerous times. I love docs. You can't trust them 100%. Book it. Write it down, okay? Put it in your pocket, and then take it out every hour or so. Look at it. It says, don't believe docs 100%. Do your own research. Do your own thinking. Because every doc has its own agenda, one way or another, and that is to acquire viewers, to make it more interesting. They don't give a shit if the information is true or not. That doesn't matter. It's all about interest. The interest. They're doing a doc, they're doing this doc, and in the process of doing the documentary, they acquire information that may be juicy. For instance, they're doing this doc with Carole. Okay. She's concerned about how Joe Exotic is running his place. Okay? And she should be. Because Joe Exotic is running a piece of crap park for tigers. And as much as he might love tigers, and I think he does, they bring him a lot of happiness. But it's an obsession that he doesn't have the ability or the means financially to run a place like that. He was bringing in food that Walmart was throwing away. Garbage food he was feeding to these animals to keep them alive. And from the looks of it, those poor tigers were not getting the proper care. So why are you on Carole's back? She's not that likable. I get it. I felt the same way about her. There was something about her I didn't like. She's just really weird, maybe. She does look like her agendas. I didn't agree with all of them. Especially the way she was going about going after Joe. If you have an issue with Joe Exotic, she seemed to attack him personally at first, and that affected Joe. And Joe then took it to the next level, and you're pushed enough, even though her reasons were valid, and they were. But when you push somebody like Joe Exotic around, you better expect some pushback, and that's what she got. So don't be surprised when this psychopath, okay, and that's exactly what he was, is pushing back. And it seemed like she had a lot of money to burn. And we'll get to that later, where that money came from. But Joe Exotic being pushed the way he was, you got to see the real guy, didn't you? How about the way he would threaten her? Insane. You may not like the lady, and she's threatening your lifestyle. Okay? Your profession. Your life force. And I get it. But you don't go on, he had a TV show or a web-based show where he would threaten her with a gun and fake shoot like a model of her. A mannequin. Are you crazy? Yeah, you are. I couldn't believe this doc. I mean, it had everything you would want in a doc. That's why it's doing so well. You just don't see him like this. All the characters just so interesting. You don't get much more interesting than Joe Exotic. He had the flair, right? He had the look, okay? And he had a lot of persuasive ability within himself. I mean, he did a great job in producing interest in this place. And for that, I think that's where you got to see his true colors. He loved the attention. And he wanted people to enjoy his success. And although the success was minimal, because he didn't have the means, he just didn't have the brains or the ability to keep this place going the way that Doc did. Doc seemed to do it the right way, or a better way. I think Joe just acquired too many animals. It was too much. But what a guy. Bullshit artist. Okay. Always looking for attention. No matter how you're going to get it, attention is attention. From people that love tigers too. You got to love the guy, the director that helped Joe with his show. And he sort of had all this information on tape, on video, on audio of Joe for years, following him around and telling him, eventually we're going to get all this stuff together. He helped him with his show. He felt it was such an interesting story, this director, who's been around for a while, knows how to sort of make things work in the entertainment field, and all this information. But in that entertainment way of this director presenting Joe, he found that park, Tiger Park, was just a mess. And how deranged Joe was. The things he saw were disturbing. And felt, although I am depressed and seeing what I'm seeing is horrible, I have to continue forward with this. This is important. And eventually, it may pay off by sticking it out. Being around this Joe guy and seeing all the things going on there. Fishy stuff. The way Joe was as a person. He could be very arrogant, pushy, treat his employees in a horrible way. And it got worse and worse throughout time. The more paranoid he got, Joe, the more he would abuse his staff. His head getting too big. The stress becoming too much. Just the basic fact of how he would recruit young men to be with him. And these young men in his life, he had 2 husbands, right? They weren't gay. But he used his power, money, of what he had, and drugs to reel these men in. Very sad tale that the one kid was such a drug addict that he had Joe pay for his drugs, and that's why he stayed with him. He liked tigers too, but after a while, drugs they're not going to save you. They're going to destroy you. And eventually they did. This poor guy shot himself in front of one of the other employees on site. That was a touching part in the doc. The the most real section of that doc was about that young man that took his life. Very sad. Very sad. And although I did feel for his mother, she looked a little off. And how can you let your son go and live with this guy, Joe? Well, knowing that Joe Exotic is out of his gourd. I don't want this episode to be too long. I just wanted to express some of my feelings about this doc. It's a big deal. And it should be. And I want to get back to my other point about docs in general and how you shouldn't believe everything they're telling you. Please go out. Do your own research. Don't have these shows do the thinking for you. Don't do it. It's the best advice I can give you about Tiger King. Don't believe everything that Netflix says. Carole Baskin is so pissed right now. She went into this doc believing This documentary is about the abuse of tigers. Okay? And they weren't going to bring any of this other stuff up. Well, Carole, you go into a doc like that, you lose all your power. They'll sit you down for interviews. They'll ask you questions. You'll give your answers. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only thing they're going to show. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. These documentaries spin stuff. They put things in there. They innuendos, rumors become facts. Or maybe not. But the audience is somehow swayed in one way or another. It just can't be helped that way. So we got to talk about Carole's husband, Don, who disappeared. And that is the topic of discussion. Not Joe Exotic, not the cult leader guy, Doc. No. You know, they're not disturbing at all. And they shouldn't require special attention. But the possibility that this Carole lady killed her husband, Don, and fed him to tigers because she had tigers. So how easy would it be to get rid of your husband? Simple. Boy, you want to get rid of a husband or a wife, you know, whatever. Buy a tiger. Problem solved. Done. Why didn't murderers think of this before? Just buy a tiger. Yeah. Tiger will just eat a human. No problem. Bone. Anything else. Just completely gone. No evidence. Nothing. Not even poop. I mean, just everything gone. How easy it must have been for Carole. And people say, well, she had a meat grinder, right? How easy it must have been for her to grind up this body like they did in Fargo, right? They could do it in Fargo. They could do it in real life. I've heard other stories about, you know, like gangs and the mafia grinding up humans and feeding them to dogs. Pigs. That's another one I heard about. Pigs. You know, you feed humans to pigs. Pigs will eat them whole. No problem. And evidence? Gone. Don't need to bury anybody, folks. You find a farm that has pigs, and you just throw pieces of people over into the pigsty, and your problems solved. Walk away knowing nothing to see here, folks. Nothing at all. You gotta be. Can you feel the dripping sarcasm coming out of me? Even the allegation that was said during the doc. I mean, as soon as they said it, that was brought up that she fed this guy to the tigers. As soon as they said it, I was like, okay, all right, come on. As much as I really didn't like that lady, and I really don't, I'll be honest with you folks, I really didn't like her that much. Thought she was really weird. Really weird. Like most of this, most of the characters were pretty weird, which made it interesting. And she was definitely weird. Her story, not good at all. She was gang raped when she was a child. That's her story. Okay, and if that happened, Jesus. Seemed like her family life was just a mess. She ran away from home. She just, she met Don. And from what I gather, the research I did on this Carole Don thing, Don was not easy to live with. Not an easy guy to live with as a husband. And is glorious. As the ex-wife talks about the whole situation, being married to Don, I think she's kind of full of shit. She may have liked Don and respected Don, loved Don, but how much can you love somebody if they're cheating on you all the time? I don't get that. Some marriages exist with boundless lines. There is no lines. No lines. No boundaries. When it comes to relations with other people, that's not a marriage to me. That's a relationship, okay? An open relationship. And if you get married, I just don't understand that. Don't get married. Because being married means you're with the other person, and that's it. Okay? That's how I think marriage is. If you're cheating on your spouse, you shouldn't be married. Okay? Divorce that person then, and be with the other person. Simple as that. So I just didn't buy the ex-wife that much and her kids. Because Don was hard to live with. He was. Cheated on her, okay? Met this Carole, this young girl, and was smitten with her and left his family for her. So, yeah, great guy, this Don guy. Great guy. Not a big fan of this guy. As much as I don't like Carole, I really don't like Don. Okay? She was very young, Carole, when she met Don. Teenager. So she's not really, formed yet. Physically, mentally, mostly formed. Don took advantage of this and continued being a dick while with Carole as well. And would cheat on her too. So what a great guy. And from what I get, he was doing shady things, and they had a secretary that was doing shady things. He really wasn't treating Carole that great, just like he wasn't treating any woman in his life anyway. I think he found a way to just disappear. I think he wanted to just whatever. And he left. People can do this. I was talking to my wife about this the other day. We're watching, great show, Ozark. Love it. Jason Bateman, you're amazing. What a great actor. My brother loves Jason Bateman. I do too. I think he's great. What a special talent in acting. And he's been doing it since Silver Spoons. That show was great in the 80s with Rick Schroeder. Jason Bateman played his older brother. And even back then, Jason Bateman showed me something, man. He was just funny. He was on Hogan's Family. Great show. But he's in Ozark right now. 3rd season, I heard, is amazing. I'm watching it from the beginning. But in that show, they're sort of running away from problems. Financial problems, so on. And I'm thinking, they could just leave, right? Get new identities and just take off and try that. And you could do it. For a family, I think it's really hard. But for one person, not so much. Because all you have to do is to rely on you. If you're with the family and you try to change your identity, move on, start fresh, they'll probably get you in about a year or two. The kids will get on the computer and, give you away. Give away your identity in some way. It's just going to happen. But if it's just one person that wants to start over, they can do it. It's possible. And I think that's what Don did. I think his last name is Lewis. Don Lewis, Carole's husband. Whew. He took off, man. He started fresh. He may still be alive today. Wouldn't that be something? And he'd come out, right? A whole new Tiger King. Don King. Whoa, that's weird. No, his hair is not going to be straight up and be a promotion boxing guy. But wouldn't that be a nice little sequel to all this? The Don Lewis story. Yes. The sequel of Tiger King. Don King. It's coming from me. I think he's probably still alive. He probably watched this doc and said, oh man, this is great. I wonder if it feels bad that Carole's getting all this accusation, right? Like, they think she killed me. She didn't. I'm alive. Another identity. You know, I got another wife cheating on her, too. What an asshole. Oh, my God. Yeah. So I guess you get where I'm coming from with this whole Carole killing her husband thing. Tigers, okay? They really don't like eating humans, folks, okay? It's just, you think to yourself, boy, God, you know, tigers, they just want to rip us apart and just eat us. Not really. If you invade their territory, they might take your arm. That happened in the dock. Remember that part? With Joe Exotic's park there. One of his employees, that sweet employee too. She gave a lot of interviews in the doc about Joe and everything. She seemed very intelligent. Well, her arm got ripped off. And they pretty much showed it in the doc. She looked pretty calm for having her arm ripped off. And Joe's running around like, oh my God, you know, and he's helping her. But moments later, this Joe guy is walking around complaining about something. Complaining that, boy, this is going to put a real dent in my financial situation. That was on his mind at that point. Not the fact that one of his employees' arms got ripped out. He's not really concerned about that. He's more concerned that now he may be hurt financially instead. That's Joe Exotic, folks. That's a good look at that man. Not good. And those of you who support him, what are you doing? He wanted Carole dead, folks. I think that was pretty plain to see. Don't you think so? I do. I think that that was pretty obvious. He wanted her dead. He said it many times. And his employees back it up, basically. That, yeah, he did want her dead. And I believe Jeff helped in some ways, okay? And I don't think he really cared if Carole died or not. Jeff was a piece of shit as well. Is a piece of shit. Most of those people were, folks. I mean, I think the employees were okay. I think they were pretty decent people, actually. The employees of Joe Exotic. But the upper management goes to show you really can't trust upper management, folks. They're some shady folks. They just get corrupted in some way, and they lose their minds. They're just... And Joe running for office. Oh my God. Running for office. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's when he completely lost his mind. I couldn't talk. Sorry. Whew. Sorry for this episode coming out later than it should. I'm really working on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Trying to make it a really good episode. It might be two. I loved it. Great film by Quentin Tarantino. I'm putting it together. I want to make it a good show. I've done a few drafts, and they weren't good. So I'm still working on that. I had this doc in my mind. I mean, who doesn't? If you've seen it, it's on your mind. It's incredible. Other things about the doc that stuck out to me. No one really talks about The other park guy, Doc, he's kind of hard to talk about and understand, considering how arrogant and cocky and just how much of a piece of shit he is. He has his employees, all women, young women, completely brainwashed, completely. And they just participate in orgies with this guy. Okay? He's got his tigers. He's got his women. It's like his own world over there. It's just a mess. That's a mess right there. Those of you who feel bad that Joe Exotic is in prison, jail, don't. He belongs there, I think. He does. Okay, when you threaten somebody's life like that, and I believe he wanted her dead. He did. He belongs in prison. He's dangerous. He's a dangerous individual. He's a psychopath, without a doubt in my mind. Something happened along the way. Okay. It might have been sooner than we think. He broke down. He lost it. He went bye-bye. That park he ran was unsafe. Those tigers, not well taken care of. And although you didn't like Carole, she made good points. They twisted her story around, and shame on Netflix for doing that. Because you sway people into certain conclusions that aren't right. Because if you don't have full-on proof that she murdered her husband, you don't bring it up at all. That's my opinion. I guess I wouldn't be a very good documentary filmmaker. You are ruining people's lives here. You're ruining their lives. And a good example of this, before I end this episode, okay, and this may seem a little off topic, but it's not, is Jesse Ventura, who I believe to be a great man. Governor of Minnesota, or former governor. Superstar wrestler. Former Navy SEAL. He loves America. He's a smart man, a blunt man. And he was falsely accused by that fucking asshole that did the American Sniper movie, that very popular movie with, what's his name? Bradley Cooper, who did a great job. But the real-life character behind that whole story, the real sniper, made up allegations against Jesse Ventura. Okay? And just completely ripped his life apart about him being a bad Navy SEAL and just bad-mouthing him and making accusations that weren't true. That's my point. And people run with it, thinking, oh, this sniper guy wouldn't make this up. Jesse Ventura, what a piece of shit. Shame on them. Just because you hear something doesn't mean it's true. And it really hurt Jesse Ventura's life. This great man. I believe that. Jesse Ventura is a great man. And his reputation tarnished by lies, innuendos, rumors, is so unfair. I mean, how dare you? And how dare people believing it too? Like it's fact. When it's not. So difficult. So please, see these docs as entertainment. Because that's what they are. The memes that are out about Carole, although funny, and they are. They're very funny. There's a few of them I chuckle at. But they're so mean and wrong, man. We're talking about people's lives. What if there were memes out there about you? And they are false. Based and grounded in false information. How horrible would that be? How childish are we as a society? Think about that. Doing things for entertainment, but hurting lives, ruining lives for some gain, whether it's financially, okay, or just entertainment based. Just to stir the shit pot. for our entertainment. Putting tigers in cages for our entertainment. It's just, the older I get, the more knowledge I get about stuff, and not being a kid and having my head in the clouds. Having my feet on the ground and seeing things, how they really are. Like, how they really are. And how we as humans, we think too highly of ourselves sometimes. We got to keep it simple sometimes, I don't know. I didn't want to talk about Corona, but we're right in the middle of it, and might as well bring it up before I head out, end the episode. I hope and pray those who are listening are okay, and their spirits are okay, good. I wanted to say raised, but that just didn't make sense. Simply try not to be intimidated. I talked to my mom. She's in her late 60s. She's concerned. Okay? And I get it. I'm concerned too. So I told her, I said, Ma, this is the best advice I can give you. And it's weird. Like, I'm giving my mom advice. But I'm not a kid anymore. I can give my mom advice, right? That's cool. I said, Ma, the best thing you could do right now, and I know you watch the news every day, and she does. She does. I said, try, for the most part, to stay away from the news. It's better for you psychologically, for your morale. Because unfortunately, the media, they really like to place fear. That's what they do. And that's what they do best. And I said, try to stay off of social media too, on Facebook. Go on there to play your games. But don't look at the posts. Don't fall into that rabbit hole, right? Where you see a post on Facebook, anywhere, Twitter. Okay? And you're sucked into this conversation, this fucking conversation about Corona, the government, all the theories and what's going on. And we really don't know, folks. We're still learning about this thing. So making assumptions and predictions and this and that, this will help you. This will hurt you. Do this, do that. This is how it spreads. This is how you get it. We don't know yet. There are theories out there. So please be careful. Please stay sane. This is only going to last for a little while with us in isolation. We're going to have to go out eventually. Going to have to venture out. We can't let this run our lives. Right now, we're letting this thing run our lives. It's sad but true. It is. This little fucking virus is not only placing fear into some citizens, but we're letting it run our lives. I can't go see my mom right now. I miss her very much. My dad is out in Florida. Okay. So, I talked to him today. He's doing good. But it's what it's doing. I'll see my mom when things settle down, when things get better. I miss her. So we got to do our part. But we're letting this thing sort of take control. And why didn't this happen in 2009? When 400,000 people died from that other virus that was going on. Why weren't we all quarantined back then? What's really going on, folks? So this is my advice. Stay sane. And I hope everybody out there is doing great. I love doing the show. I love doing documentaries. I love talking about actors, actresses, movies. I'm going to talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. One of his best. He did a great job. And I want to talk about it in detail, do it right. I am quarantined for the most part. I go out once a week. That's it. I'm in my house a lot. And I'm almost not motivated to do the show because it's just different. Like my daily routine is different. I'm not motivated to do certain things where I'm more motivated to do other things. It's just all so weird. So, I know it's weird for you too. I love you all. And I hope you don't frown upon my opinions on things. I try to see things outside the box. Okay. I gather all sorts of information, even from the media. They're, for me, mostly entertainment. But I don't take what they tell me, give me, as fact. Don't. And them scaring me, it's been really weird through this whole thing. It's so strange. Like, they can get me really scared, and then I'm not at all. And then I get scared again, and then I'm not. It's almost like when I break down and I go and look up the news, right? And I'll watch something or I read something. Afterwards, I'm paranoid. I'm scared. And then I tell myself, why the hell did you do that? And I don't. For the next couple of days, I do my own thing. I don't listen to news, read it, nothing. And I start feeling better. Go figure. I go on Facebook, I get depressed. I go on Instagram, I get depressed. I go on Twitter, I'm depressed. I read up on the news, and I get depressed. I step away from that stuff. I pick up a book. I watch a show. I color with my kids. I'm coloring at night. I love coloring. Yes, I'm 43. I love to color. I do that. I read, whatever. I do stuff around the house. I was working in the backyard this week. Got a lot of stuff done. I feel good. That's when I feel good. Being with my family. Walking the dog. And the dog's doing great. He's actually doing pretty good. We're home all the time. He's happy. He's a little confused. But for the most part, he's being taken care of, man. We're here all the time right now. He's probably like, why are these people here every day? He's not used to that. My little pup, my little dog, little serious. He's a great dog. His allergies are getting better. His eyes are better. He had a problem with his eyes. Oh, it's disgusting. His poor eyes were red, just goopy. Oh, it was a poor guy. Finally, we got these drops, and they're clearing up. It took months. Poor little guy had eye issues for months. I've had eye stuff going on, like pink eye. Oh, that'll ruin your week. This poor little guy, months. He just was struggling. So, here I am talking about my dog, and it's the actor's room. My name's Jeff. We talk about all sorts of different things. And all you out there that know me, hey, hope you're well. I hope the families are good and you're not killing each other. Just remember, you love them. They love you. Talk through it. I know, right? And for me, we're getting along super. Me and my family are getting along just fine. My daughter Madeline got an online job. So she is just banging away at the computer. I had to tell her to go to bed like 10 times last night. She's just... God bless her, 16 years old, her first job. And she got it all on her own. Give her props for that. And my youngest daughter, Lexi, she's 10. She's going to be 11 next month. She misses her friends. It's so sad. She misses her little friend across the street. She wants to go over there so bad. And I'm like, sweetie, it'll be soon. I promise. This bullshit will be over soon. And she just looks at me and goes, okay, Dad. She's such a sweetheart. She was helping me in the backyard yesterday with the wheelbarrow. 10-year-old. There was wood in there and everything. She's just helping me out. You know? God, kids are just a gift. They're a gift. You know? And we just pray, hope and pray we do a good job in raising them. And then they don't hate us forever. Just for a little while. They'll hate us for a little while probably, because we don't understand anything. But, we're going to be okay. And I hope you and your family are doing fine. And that's it. That's all I got. Tiger King. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. It's just entertainment-based. Don't take it too seriously. The one thing you should take seriously about this, and this I'm not kidding, are those tigers. They were abused for the most part. They were. Just by the simple fact that caged up the way they are. They don't deserve to be caged. What if it was the other way around? Right? And tigers were just these intelligent beings. And we're, floating around like monkeys. And we were caged up. We don't think about that, do we? Because we're just so high and mighty. It bothers me, man. It really does. Whether you're an animal lover or not, it should bother you. When I was watching those tigers walking around the cages, going, you think they want to be in there? They don't. They don't. Sad. It's sad. So, Tiger King, right? Tiger King, the sensation, just like Bird Box was. And that had the same premise with birds being in cages. So it's all about cages. That's like the thing now. We don't want to be in a cage. And right now, we are. We're being caged right now. This was a significant episode on this show. A caged show. Something to ponder this week, this month, or this year. 2020. What a year so far. Cages. Tigers. The actor's room. May you have a wonderful day. Great night. Go out. See him. Oh, you can't go out and see a movie. Jeff, shame on you. How dare you say that? Even to mention it. Because there's someone in the audience going, yeah, I'm going to go out and see a movie. Wait a minute. That fucker. I got excited for about 5 seconds about going out and seeing a movie. Can't do that. You got to stay in it and see a movie. So do that. Stay in. See a movie. God, I hope you really didn't punch your phone or your device just now. I talked to my dad and I said, we are going to hug the chefs at restaurants. We miss them so much to go out, sit down, and have a meal because we can't do that right now. The next time we go to a restaurant, the people are going to be so happy. They're just going to be smiling. We're in a restaurant. We're eating food in a restaurant. Being taken care of. Hugging the chefs, You made it. You made it through. Give me some good food. What a crazy, crazy time. Years from now, I may look back at this episode, years from now, and look back and go, wow, I remember 2020. What a crazy year. What a crazy year. And then know that in the year 2029, we'll be going through this again. A new virus, a new problem, new flu, some weird strain. Will we handle it in the same way? We'll be quarantined again. It's going to happen, folks. It's going to be another one. It's going to be like every 10 years. They seem to come up. We're going to do this again? I don't know. Something weird's going on, man. Does it smell fishy to you? Something smells. Something stinky. It's not my feet. It might be my feet. I don't think so. Something else. Something else. Okay, that's the episode. I'm trying to, keep you entertained in a weird way. Are you entertained at all? Are you just looking at your device with this look, like a squinty look, like, what's up with this guy? Is he on drugs? No. Don't take drugs. Nope. No drugs, actually. I'm on Zyrtec and vitamins. Taking a lot of vitamins. Doing that. And it's weird. I've been sleeping in every day. And we'll sleep in for the next 3 weeks. I don't have to wake up for anything. I have no work to go to right now. The college I work for, holy shit. Work for? No, right? Still work, folks. I still have a job. It's just the college I work for. Closed. I have nowhere to go. The kids, no school. I don't have to get them up. So every morning, I get up like at 9. It's weird. When reality comes back, I'm going to be like, wait a minute. I get up at 9 now. So we're going to have to change the hours of the college. Sorry. Have a great day. Support the show. Needs it. I need it. We need it. The show needs it. Getting phlegmy. May you have a great day. Thanks for listening to The Actors Room. My name is Jeff Tarowski. Please go on the website, theactorsroom.libsyn.com. Yeah, we got to end this now. I'm starting to... losing it, man. Voice is going. Mind is going to sleep. Should I go to sleep soon? It's in the evening. It's there. It's been a day. It has. It's been a long day. It's weird. I do find things to do. But, yeah, I am babbling. What is up? Well, I haven't really recorded in a while. It's been like a week or two. 2 weeks. So there you go. I just miss it. Hope you had a great day. I think I said that 5 times already. Jesus. I got to go. I'm out. God bless you. Have a good one.